Hello, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, the executive producer here, and I've got a few pre-show notes for you. First, a reminder. All of the content we produce is available on our website at finalshowfilms.com, as well as youtube.com/senstaku, senstaku.podbean.com, twitch.tv/senstaku, and on iTunes. We are only able to do the things we do thanks to the kind support of our Patreon donors. We give a special shout out to our $25 tier supporters, Antitonic and Cat Waterflame. If you'd like to support us that way, be sure to check it out. Secondly, a thank you to the folks over at 411mania.com. They produce articles and content related to wrestling, MMA, movies, music, and gaming. Go check them out. We appreciate their support as well. And lastly, be sure to subscribe, comment, and rate, if possible, wherever you listen to or watch our content. It helps us know what you like, what you don't like, and helps us make more content. Feedback is always appreciated. With all that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hello everybody and welcome back to Adventures League Storm King Thunder. I'm John, the Game Master for today, and with me today is William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Farron Altarian, the human paladin of Ilmater.
And Jeff.
Hi, I'm Jeff. I'm playing Farbolt Chance, the half-elven rogue.
And Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm playing Kinvalar, the Sun Elf Blade Singer.
And Miracle. Or sorry, Aaron.
I'm Aaron, and I'm playing Miracle, who's really happy to be here, guys.
God damn it. Anyways, so when last we left our adventurers, they had finally reached Nonar's Hold to complete the first of their long series of quests that they had accepted. And upon arriving, they found a town that seemed very much a ghost town. There were people there, but upon realizing that there were strangers in town, they immediately locked themselves indoors and didn't come back out. It seemed to be a town under some sort of dark pall. So they went to the hold, which was very obviously sitting on a ridge above the thing, introduced themselves to the Castellan there, and delivered the goods that they were told to deliver. Afterwards, they went and spent the night at the inn, where they were told that there were wraiths haunting the woods, or from the woods, sort of wandered around the town, or circled the town, hunting for prey at night. And they were warned against going outdoors at night. So promptly they went outdoors at night in order to track down the wraiths and potentially deal with them, which they did in a startlingly efficient manner. 2 lightning bolts later, all 5 of the wraith riders that they had set out to deal with were dealt with. In the morning, they went back to the hold to spread the good news to the hunt lords of the town, only to find that the keep had been abandoned sometime between them dealing with the wraiths and coming up to the keep. Upon entering, they determined that it looked like this place hadn't been upkept for quite some time. There were cobwebs and broken chairs and crumbling walls all over the place, and the sudden realization that, oh yeah, all the windows on this keep are bricked up, brought them to the thought that potentially the hunt lords of Nonar's Hold were themselves the wraiths that they had killed the night before. So they helped them to a treasure. They helped themselves to a treasure chest in the back of the hold, which contains 600 gold pieces and a couple of magical items, and that is where we pick up.
Shiny things.
Nice shiny things. Did we want to look over the rest of the place? It's been pretty much abandoned. Unless we run into the old dwarf.
I mean, we might as well.
All right, so you guys take time to sort of scour through what remains standing of the keep.
Mm-hmm.
You very quickly determine as you crawl through that there's not much left here, including the Castellan is not there at all. It seems like just from very easily you can determine that the Hunt Lords have probably been whites for a long time, and so the only person that was actually living here was the Castellan. And he didn't seem to have any particular amount of love for the place because it seems that once the Wraiths were dead, he booked it. And there's not, other than the treasure that you found, there's nothing else but crumbling ruin.
Well, seems like we solved it.
So,
Do we care enough to let the townsfolk know, or will we just trust them to learn it for themselves over time?
I think
we
we
should
should probably
absolutely
alert them
let
to this fact.
at least
Well,
let the innkeep
keeper,
know.
no. Just
Yes.
kick the doors open, the gates to this place, just kick them wide open and leave them like that. And
I
then
mean,
townspeople
we're
can
kind of
do it.
already open, but okay.
No, I mean like throw them open. So it's quite visible from the town that they're. Because I'm sure these things.
Should we leave a note saying the cranky ghosts are gone?
Let's go.
Let's just-
Let
we
us
can tell
go
the innkeeper.
inform the innkeeper. Yes.
Okay.
All right, so you head back to the innkeeper. You head back to the inn.
And there might be 3 dead nobles, minor nobles, one out there somewhere.
Yeah. Other concern. Are they just gonna repopulate with new ghosts?
The
Because
ghosts
those
did that?
idiots are definitely dying.
I mean, I don't think it will. I don't. It shouldn't.
Okay.
They're
don't-
going to die a lot.
Hmm.
No, firing at the inn. There's 3 minor nobles who were there. They were here to hunt giants.
Um,
Well,
And
typically
boorish.
speaking, dying in the process of a hunt is not a traumatic enough event to trigger someone becoming a ghost. Usually.
they're
so
going
yeah,
to die
it
a
has to
lot.
be a particular situation. Yes, I'm not. I'm not that concerned about that happening with them. Although I am certain that that those 3 idiots will die in short order the first time they actually meet a giant. Or whatever it is they were.
Absolutely no argument here. As I said, they're going to die a lot.
Yes. So yeah, let's head out and go tell the innkeeper.
Innkeeper.
Congratulations, you are not
You are
ruled
now
over by
ghost-free.
the undead.
So you go back to the innkeeper, and
Mhm.
he's there. Ah, yes, welcome back. Are you staying another night, or is there something else I can help you with?
Well, we have good news for you. Part of your ghost problem should be solved. At least the malevolent ones, anyways.
The Hunt Lords are no longer an issue.
Well, I mean, the Hunt Lords were never an issue, but if you feel like you've sufficiently dealt with ghosts, then congratulations. I hope you have a great sense of accomplishment from that. Many adventurers have come through and said that they've dealt with a ghost problem before, and sometimes it doesn't necessarily true. But I appreciate the efforts that you've gone through.
Look over at Fire and it's like, should we have consecrated the ground or something? Is there?
I don't have that power. I'm not a cleric. I'm a warrior.
I mean, they were corporeal, right?
That you guys, you guys
Yeah.
dealt with. Yes, they weren't ghosts. They were physical undead.
So,
One moment, and I will leave.
Okay.
Go to where the bodies are.
They were ash.
Oh, they gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine. Yes.
Okay.
Grab some of the ash.
Okay.
Head back.
Okay.
Boom. That's what's left.
I mean, that's all very nice.
Lightning bolting until there was nothing left.
I assume you acquired this hunting something, yes?
so
It is, sir, I kind of interject, the oath of a paladin that I must maintain honesty at all times, and I can say to you honestly that we did defeat the undead creatures that had been haunting this place.
I completely believe that you believe that, sir.
So Miracle's pretty used to not being taken seriously by the simple-minded commoner, so he's just back in his bag,
Yeah.
getting ready to go.
So, breakfast then.
Yes, breakfast sounds like a wonderful
I don't
idea.
know, yes, have a seat, we'll bring food out for you, yes. He goes back into the kitchen. Anyone that wants can make an insight roll.
Show.
11. Ah, yes, rolling back in town.
It's 10, 11, 11, 18. Kenvalar, the rest of you, he seems strange. Kenvalar, the specific way that he was reacting to how you were telling him things, you're pretty certain he's not all there anymore.
Yeah.
Something happened, and he is in his own version of reality, and nothing you say will convince him that his reality is wrong. You don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just from the way he was reacting to what you were saying,
Right.
it doesn't seem like he fully believes that there was that the ghosts are gone. B, you also notice that you don't think he knew the Hunt Lords were the Wraiths, and you don't think he could be convinced of that fact either. Just from the way he just sort of... Most people, when you tell them a thing they don't want to believe, they will, react to it. Everything you told him just seemed to wash over and
Yeah,
pass.
he just benignly
Yeah.
waved to his side. All right.
Like it's less of a he doesn't want to believe you, and more that you don't think he's capable of believing the things you've said at this point in time.
So once he's gone, I will look over. After breakfast, we should go. Perhaps just tell a random villager and have them pass the word on.
Tell them that the keep
Do we
is looking
want
for
to
new
stay
tenants.
another night and make sure we actually did the job, or do we want to keep
Oh
going?
no, I'm fairly certain we did the job.
Well, Miracle will mutter something about marking students down for not checking their work.
Alright, so you guys have again, these floating trays come out and set things down and return. You have a lovely breakfast, and are you planning on staying another night, or are you heading out during the day?
I'm good with heading out.
Sounds like we're headed
Yes.
out.
Alright. So, you inform a nearby village. You try to inform a nearby villager through their locked door that you've dealt with the ghost problems. You don't really get a reaction. You don't know if they heard you or if they're just still hiding out of fear. But you certainly pass the message along.
Also throw in just, some of them, yeah, the ghosts are gone,
I
these are gone.
probably will actually pin to the castle door just a short note saying the cranky wraiths are gone on
Miracle.
for now.
Miracle
Yeah,
side
just-
jacks to-
Courtesy of your local random courtesy of your local adventurers.
Alright.
I will just
Okay.
say to whichever door we knock on, there is an open castle now. First one to get to it wins.
Alright, so let's see.
Put that on
And
my
then
little
let's head out.
note.
You spent a few hours searching the castle. So it's probably around 1 or 2 o'clock now that after you finish with the sort of the roundup and trying to tell a couple doors, Miracle going up and nailing a note to the keep, and you all set out. Give me perception checks, everyone.
Of course, anything that I'm good at, I'm going to roll poorly at.
God,
Firing
William.
with our
23.
first natural one of the day.
23, not bad.
So Miracle and Jeff, as you guys are heading out, you guys head out on the road, and just the way that Nonar's hold is sort of up a ridge, you have much clearer view leaving than you did coming in because you're going down a hill rather than up a hill. And just as you are heading out and back on the road, you do see a pair of horses, riding back towards the town. It doesn't look like they're a bit far off. It looks like they won't be actually getting there for another hour or so. But you do see Miracle. You see the pair of horses with riders. Farbolt, your particularly keen elven eyes, or half elven eyes, do notice 2 of the 3 nobles that had been in the tavern previously riding back.
What do your half-elven eyes see?
Are they riding hard or are they just right?
They're not riding hard. They are riding as if
With purpose.
they're riding with purpose. Yeah, and you do notice one of them favoring a shoulder.
They got fucked up. The third one's probably dead.
Yeah, it's kind of mentioned. Yeah, it looks like the brothers are returning. Interesting.
Well, we have our own business to get to.
You do notice that they have what looks like a massive head hanging off one of their saddles.
They managed to kill one.
Hey,
That's surprising.
Should we go and see? The only
If you
reason
want
I
to.
ask, is because there is sort of a situation going on with giants. So if they actually learned anything, it might be valuable for us to know. In case we have another large person encounter on the road.
Yes, they may have actually just
have
pissed
a
off.
rapport.
What was that, Miracle? I didn't catch
Have a
it.
rapport. Never mind. Aaron is just not able to say that word right now. Apparently,
It's okay. So yeah, I will
Type it in chat. What you were trying to say?
Rapport.
A rapport. Okay.
Oh,
Yes, that thing I said twice.
yeah. No, it wasn't you. It was the mic sort of cut out both times.
Oh, okay.
So, yes. So yeah, turn my horse and start heading.
Okay, you guys adjust path and ride on an intercept course. And as you get down to about 30 minutes later, roughly, because they were a bit of a distance out. Which is why the human definitely didn't see anything because they were just beyond your real vision. And you guys catch up to them, and you see that it is Marthan and Lesric are the 2 that are there, and they sort of like pull up. They sort of pull up as you guys approach.
It's got to give a big wave and just go, "Greetings and well met, sirs. I see you were triumphant."
Yes. You notice Lesric sort of sidling up a little bit closer. Marthan is the one that has some sort of injury on his shoulder. Yes, we were indeed, and though not uninjured for our task.
As I get closer, what kind? Can I identify the type of giant head on the?
It's a hill giant.
Okay.
So I step up to Lesric was the injured one.
No, Lesric's the one that's talking. Marthin is the one that's
All
injured.
right, Marthin. I step up to Marthin and say, "Come, friend. Little Mater, ease your suffering." And I just kind of put my hand on his shoulder and gave him a couple points of lay on hands.
Okay. Yeah, and you watch. Give me a medicine check while you're there.
Yeah, just see how many I need to use.
Just because you're,
11.
exactly
rolled average.
Exactly the DC. So you go over and yeah, you can. It takes 2 points really to heal it back up, but you do notice that, as you're doing you're sort of looking at the wound, and he sort of like tries to pull away, but you're trying to heal, and as just you do notice that this looks to be a puncture wound, more consistent with a rapier. And at this whole time, Lesric's been talking. Yes, we were successful. Unfortunately, this one, he's just kicking the head of the hill giant. Killed our brother, but we avenged him swiftly.
Did he?
Oh, that is most unfortunate.
How did your brother die?
What was the question, William?
I said, how did your brother die?
This one had a massive spiked great club. Just swung down and crushed him in one blow.
Spikes as big as a man's arm, eh? Certainly caused a fine wound on your friend here.
Oh, no, that was a near miss, not a direct hit.
Even a near miss from a spike the size of a man's arm would leave a much larger wound than a rapier puncture. I say, looking at either of them carrying rapiers.
They both are. You saw them at the tavern. All three of them had rapiers. They were going to be hunting hill giants with rapiers.
They're idiots. Yes.
Yes.
Why, yes, certainly. And the one that you were sort of holding just sort of shrugs his arm away. Well, no.
I give Kinvalar a knowing look.
If you'll excuse us, and they
could you tell us where you encountered this giant? We might want to avoid that area.
They very rapidly ride away, even as you're asking the question.
Was that sack covered, or was there actually a hill giant head?
No, it was actually a head there. Like it wasn't.
They got
covered.
extremely lucky.
Or one of them was too competent and had to be removed from the line of succession.
I don't think competent and those three actually go together.
Yes. That wound that I healed on that man was definitely caused by one of their own weapons.
But still, the fact that they may have turned on their brother is not out of the question.
Okay. So they were hurt by hill giants or each other. I fail to see the difference from our perspective.
Which direction did they come from?
They were coming east, so they were coming from the west.
One miracle is an implication of battle wounds. The other one is an implication of fratricide.
I mean,
yeah, I understand that. I don't understand why it matters to us.
It could also be just frank incompetence.
Yes. There's no.
But that one was high on the shoulder, right?
Yeah, it was like right up here.
Like, unless you're trying to strike across the length of an ogre, it's hard to miss and make that.
You're a noble. You're familiar with dueling wounds. That was somebody stabbing you with a rapier, not an accident.
That's no accidental graze, especially not from across the length of an ogre.
It was also a through, like it was through and through. So.
Yeah. Or across the length of a hill giant, not likely.
I'm going to make a guess that they somehow managed to slay the giant. One of them tried to murder the others and was put down for some reason.
It may have been. It may have also been a joint
Regardless,
tooth
It's
from the
oldest.
remaining
Not our
tooth.
concern.
Isn't that usually how human cub squabbling goes?
And
I confess to being somewhat ignorant about that.
Do I know who was the oldest of the three?
Yes, the one that was not there.
Yes, the oldest is the one who is no longer here. Which does also
Right.
lend a little bit of credence to the idea that it was the two younger siblings trying to take the oldest's position, glory.
I mean, so let's assume that they were marginally skilled enough to kill one hill giant. They wanted 3, right?
yeah.
So when they realized their skill level might not be enough for them to get 3, I could imagine that caused conflict.
Very possible.
Now, we were talking about the possibility of ghost restocking syndrome.
I think fratricide would
Yeah.
definitely be cause for another ghost.
It might be.
The local
This is-
politics really don't concern me, but
This isn't an issue that I have sworn an oath to ease suffering and take on what I can. I can't exactly let this lie.
Okay.
you
Well,
want to
I was
find-
just trying to
find
figure out
somebody-
more of what happened, because I assume that's helpful for you easing the suffering if you know where the suffering is.
We need
we'd
to find
have
where
to
this
find the
we need to
body.
find where this hill giant was killed.
Well, we know it can't
They-
be days right out, so
So they basically told us in the tavern, well, if you know where to look in our secret lineage spot. Given that I am a ranger with a focus on forests and plains and giants, could I make like a survival roll for tracking giants to know where?
Also tracking
Where-
their hoof prints.
Sure, give me a stat
Well, I could try and track the hoof prints, or I could try and locate local giants, for which I have advantage.
either one works.
Still an
And
8.
Neither would matter.
check. So with an 8, you something about and they from the direction that they were coming in. You know they were coming from the Desserin Hills area,
Mhm.
which is to the west, which you know is full of hill giants and ogres and trolls and things.
Okay.
You know that they would have had to go there.
Well, like I said, it can't be more than a day's ride out. The fact that they're coming back now, so
They left. They
It's
left
not-
just before dawn, and they're coming back. Probably about 7 hours later, almost 8 hours later.
so it wouldn't put us that far out of the way if you wanted to go head that direction.
I suppose, yes.
I definitely like to
Didn't
get
we
to the bottom
have
of
an
this.
urgent thing we were doing for another, not necessarily noble, but fancy person?
I don't know that anything we
Was-
was doing was.
We had a
Outside of the-
message to.
One of
I'm not able to say this subtly, but I know I should be. So just.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
really tired now.
It's okay, another
The
feeling.
person from the Lord's Alliance
the Harpers.
that wanted us to essentially recon talk to people and asked for that to be one of the first things we did.
Yeah,
I don't exactly remember where we were supposed to be going for that.
One of your quests
because-
was to go speak to a person in Everland, which is further up the Evermore Way. Which
That's
is,
several days' ride, though.
Yeah,
so.
several. Which is
I just remember that she said that she expressed that was more vaguely urgent than other things.
And it is, but this is less than a day's. This is less than a day's ride out of our way.
Just as a player, making sure everyone remembers the thing that our characters did less than a week ago.
Yeah, it's a good thing to know.
Actually,
Especially because I've been missing a couple
4,
sessions.
5, 6. It's actually been about a little over a week since no, it's been.
My
1,
point
2, 3,
stands.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been about 9 days. And since you were, just so you guys have an idea of the time frame, it's been about 9 days since you left Tribor.
Cool. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
If no one has any
attempting-
objections, Fyron would like to start heading to the hills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone who
That's
wants
fine.
Once we get to the hills, I could try and track the hoof prints.
Yes.
I mean, anyone that wants to can go and give me a survival check to see if you can follow back the path that the brothers were coming.
All right.
For what it's worth.
9! Why should my rolling skills be broken?
What the
Because I'm trying to
fuck?
fulfill something for my oath. 7.
Jeremy, you rolled significantly
Look,
better
there's
than
a
you.
road.
Farbolt and Fyron, fucking horse tracks right there.
Isn't
Kinvalar,
far strong suit.
Kinvalar and Miracle, however, you both sort of Miracle, like you can only think of the Desperate Hills because it's the closest thing to where you are, where you know there are hill giants. But following these tracks is a lot easier than trying to just sort of pick out of your brain where the giants might be. And so between you and Kinvalar, you're very easily able to retrack this path. They didn't actually get very far. They didn't actually even get to the hills. It seems like they managed to run across a hill giant well before then, and you find in only a couple of hours you find the corpse of a hill giant, minus its head, riddled with stab wounds, and underneath it you can see just sort of the telltale sign of human legs.
All right, let's see if we can't uncover this.
I'm not terribly strong, but I'll try and help at least scoot
let's
this mess
push
off
that
to the side of
thing.
the road.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not on like a roaded path. It's in an open, like sort of a not quite open, but it's like in
Okay.
the
As
crest
long
between
as
two
it's
hills.
not like in the middle of the one road
No,
being
no.
terribly inconvenient, I guess I'll just try and
No,
extricate the
the-
human, presumably with help.
the nearest road is the
Yeah.
Jundar Pass, and this is sort of a few hills away from that.
Okay.
So whoever wants to can make me an athletics check with advantage because you're all helping.
Okay.
I will not make that check.
Someone not
anyone have
me.
does anyone have a better athletics than +2?
Nope.
21!
All right. So Kinvalar takes the lead first.
Yep.
And you're sort of pushing up on the giant to try to move it, and you're just digging your feet in. But while you're doing that, while you and Miracle are trying to lift the giant, Fyron and Farbolt come underneath and drag the body out. And between those two efforts, you manage to get him clear of the ogre, of the giant. And the first thing you notice, Fyron, is that this body is mostly intact.
Mm-hmm.
His
The
head
second
is
thing I
still
notice
there.
is probably rapier wounds.
The second thing you notice is, yes, a very clear rapier wound, because you've already made the check to notice the first one. A very clear rapier wound in his side. No, it doesn't seem like he even got hit by the giant.
But if he's under the giant, they killed him first and then encountered the giant.
They either
And used
killed-
his
they either
body
killed
as
him-
bait.
They either killed him first and used him as bait for the giant, or buried him under the giant to make it look like he had died when it fell on him. But this, I say, pointing to the wound, is a... Honestly, this rapier wound probably punctured his stomach.
You do see his rapier scattered off to the side. It is covered in blood. So, make of that what you will.
Does it look like giant blood or human blood?
I mean, giant blood looks very similar to human blood. There's just more of it.
Can I make a nature check for
Sure.
if it looked like he actually stabbed the giant at any point?
Pat the body down. You have anything on him?
No.
I mean, this giant is riddled with rapier holes, and that rapier is covered in blood. So,
And it looks like a lot of blood for having stabbed one of the guys that was still walking. So
I am going to try and tell me if this is something that I'm going to try to use investigation to do the classic forensic technician thing of looking at footprints and scuffs in the ground and little stab wounds in the thing to figure out recreate the battle.
You want to do the Legolas thing. There were two bodies here. They were dragged.
Yes.
You're an urban bounty hunter.
Exactly.
Do that.
Yeah.
Make me an investigation roll.
Oh, it should be with advantage at 25.
Yeah, 25.
I don't know what the fuck has been up with my dice rolling in the past.
Jeremy's rolling here.
Here.
Jeremy's rolling here like I rolled in Gran Terra.
There you go. So yeah, you while they're sort of like looking around, and you sort of take a step back and look, and you use you have prestidigitation, don't you?
Yes, I do.
You sort of wave your hand.
No. I'm sorry, I do not.
You do not. What's
that's
that?
my other two spellcasters that I play.
I've got prestidigitation.
You don't necessarily cast you don't necessarily cast a spell, but you do sort of like fiddle with the essence of magic and just sort of like give yourself like a little picture book recreation of what you think is happening, and looking around you just sort of this sort of like little sphere of magic harnessing that internal magical essence of being a wizard, and you sort of fiddle with it while you're looking around, walking around, sort of orbiting the scene and recreating. And you pretty clearly, as you're sort of noting what you're seeing while everybody else is looking at the body and looking at the wounds, it seems like what happened was the giant was fought mostly by one person. And it looks like one person very cleanly and quickly and skillfully lured the giant out and brought it out and did a lot of damage to it, and then two more people joined afterwards before felling the giant.
Mm-hmm.
You notice that there are 3 distinct sets of footprints around where the giant's head was. So you're pretty certain all 3 of them were still standing when they were removing the head.
Okay.
And then there's sort of like what looks like another fight pulling away from where the head was, and then drag marks back to the corpse.
Okay. Well, the good news, Miracle, is that I believe the competent one at taking out giants is no more.
Okay.
It appears as if the one that lies here is. I'm going to make an assumption that it was him. Largely took out the giant by himself, and then there was a quarrel and fight and death that happened afterward.
All right. So I repeat. Do we have any concern? Should we burn his corpse?
No.
Say last rites.
Last rites would be good, but I don't think corpse burning is necessary. I feel like trying to track down the fratricide committers would be difficult at best.
I mean, isn't that how... There's the strong cubs and there's the clever ones, and the clever ones survive by sleeping smarter or by killing the strong ones once the strong ones have demonstrated their strengths.
Except I don't think in this point this brother ever wanted to kill his younger brothers. I'm fairly certain this was a crime of jealousy. I don't think he was a threat to them.
You're not wrong. I'm thinking more logistically.
While you guys have this conversation, let me go let my dog back in.
Cool. We are not entirely certain where they were taking the thing for the bounty. Where are we?
They weren't in it for the bounty. They were in it for the prestige.
And that's a thing that we can ask John about, but I may have recognized their noble house. considering I am
Farbolt
noble.
does. Farbolt does know who they are. They're like the Devaris or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
They're a noble house out of Waterdeep.
Yes.
Oh, where I'm from.
So
Waterdeep.
Farbolt recognized who their house. So we know where they came from, and we had talked to them in the tavern. They were in this for the prestige, for a rite of passage to hunt a giant. So they weren't looking.
I mean, I feel like
Alternatively, they were looking for a convenient hunting accident.
I think the two brothers were looking for a convenient hunting accident. I think whatever noble pissing rights that they were after, because they were saying they wanted to hunt one each, and I think the two brothers realized they were in over their head.
It seems to me like if I had to take a guess at their motivations, the two brothers had made a claim that each of them would spread out and find their own giant to kill themselves, and knowing that only this brother was really into the task, would simply wait for him to do battle and join in, and then take advantage of his weakened state after the fight.
All of this is very reasonable.
I
The
suppose-
question is, what do we do about it, and why do we care about it?
I care about it because an innocent man has been slaughtered by his own kin.
I mean that is essentially why.
Okay, so what do you want to do about it?
That is the question.
Um,
I don't know that there is much that we can do unless we want to try and ride them down.
Hinvalar.
Or unless you want to report it if we ever get up to Waterdeep, we can.
Kinvalar, in particular, I just want to make this clear because you did get this information. The three brothers joined together to cut the head off the giant.
Yes.
The fight happened after they removed the head, not like upon their arrival.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that information was clear.
It could be something as simple as one of the elder was all about the honor, and the rest of them wanted to use it.
Does he have like?
Who
Or
knows?
they saw the opportunity.
Regardless, we have what we have the information we need. I don't know if we want to go that far out of our way to track them down, since ultimately we know where they will eventually be heading.
Yeah,
And that is
they'll be heading back to
very
Waterdeep
far out of
eventually.
our way.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Do we know
take
which
the
direction they
rapier.
were riding off in?
They were heading back to town.
Back to Nonars?
I'm gonna take the rapier, still bloody, just put it back in the sheath and stuff it in the bag of holding. Not cleaning it off, but just putting it back into the scabbard.
Oh my god, that's gonna smell bad when you take it back out.
That's kind of the whole point. And does he have any heraldry on him, like an amulet, crest, anything? Anything that would signify what his station is?
They had the family crest in their armor.
Anything like a patch or something I can take off?
Yeah,
and necklace or anything like that?
You can cut the crest off. It doesn't seem. You do know that nobles tend to carry paperwork, basically, that's of their lineage and their.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking
His
for.
paperwork
Something
is
to
not
identify him.
his identifying paper. His noble lineage paperwork is not with him. You imagine it's probably back at the end.
Okay.
I have. Miracle's just going to stare off into the distance because he just had a brilliant idea.
Miracle stares off into the distance, brimming with eagerness for some reason.
Yeah, I have those papers because I took the noble background.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Did you want to pursue them, or just we
I
will?
would like to put the effort in, unless all the group of you are entirely opposed to this.
Here's my proposal. We concoct a play.
Oh dear. I'm actually quite interested in this.
Oh boy.
We've
Oh.
already established that I am a wandering scholar who records the words of the world, and we have our entertainer slash flatterer of rich people, and you two. So, we do a play and they get guilty, and
Do
look,
you want to be like impersonate the dead brother? I could do that.
The play is the thing in which we shall capture the conscience of the king.
I was about
Yes.
to say, this is
yes,
very Shakespearean.
essentially that is the proposal, but I don't think that play exists in this world, so I can't make that reference.
I mean,
I
not in the form that we know it, but a version of it definitely exists. Yes.
it is the Forgotten Realms, so I'm sure somewhere at some point
Elminster wrote
someone who wrote something canon ripped off Shakespeare, because that
Okay,
ripping
That
off
happens quite a
fantasy
lot.
is how Faerun came into existence, pretty much.
fair enough.
Oh.
Essentially, that is what I am proposing.
That seems incredibly elaborate.
I'm not going to lie and
Look,
say
you
that
want
I'm
me
not,
to care about this. Let's
not going-
do it
I'm
in an
not-
interesting way.
I'm not going to lie and say that I am not incredibly enraptured by this idea.
And the best thing is, we can fail the performance checks and it will be completely fine.
So how do
Because
you want
only
to? How do
one
you
of
want
us
to
has
play,
to be decent enough at it to communicate the message.
How do you want to play this?
Oh my
I'm okay with this plan, but how do you want to play it?
It seems likely that it will take the townsfolk at least a few days to realize that there are no longer ghosts around. In that
If
time,
they
they're
ever
probably still going to stay away from the inn where the non-locals are, correct?
Fair assumption.
So, we just so we had to come back for unrelated reasons related to our business, and we wanted to show off our talents and put on a play about how awesome you guys are. About your great giant killing achievements. Look, there's 4 of us. I am convinced this is the best plan. Because we've got a giant, an oldest brother, another brother, and another brother.
Wait, which one of us does that make the giant?
I volunteer.
Okay.
Look, demon, giant. From a noble's
Sure.
perspective, it's probably not all that different.
That's fair enough. You sort of serve the appearance of the, force of nature.
Okay.
I can also do this, and his eye color changes.
I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of enraptured by this.
Red Feather just starts picking at Miracle's horn, just out of boredom.
Honestly, a fair amount of my inborn natural magic could be useful for stage performance. I can
And-
spit fire, I can look demonic-y with thaumaturgy, and I can also cast darkness for curtains.
I guarantee this is not something, not having to write a single word, I guarantee that this is not something that Storm's King Thunder was prepared for.
I've got both.
But yes, that is also very
One of the
true.
lines says, characters may deal with the treacherous whatever in some other manner as they see fit.
I have both prestidigitation, silent image, and mirror image that I can use. So we can.
I am sure that I know enough fancy script to write a Shakespearean play.
You probably do, yes.
I also probably have something to contribute on that, given how much education I have.
So
Like
just-
the two of us working together could probably
so-
write this play.
So
Farble comes
I-
from the circus, so
I
Yeah.
just want to make sure that I and the audience knows what's happening here. Your plan is to write
agreed upon plan yet, but
your put forward plan is to write a play about three brothers killing a giant, and basically reenact what you think happened for the two remaining brothers that, as far as you are aware, are currently at the inn in Nonar's hold, in order to guilt them into confessing their crimes.
And or just for general amusement in their
and or
reaction.
just, and or
We
just
have
for general amusement.
the forensic expert. We have the theater expert. The vengeance expert. And the me who came up with the idea. I think we have all of the things we need.
I am all for this plan.
Oh my god. Are you kidding me?
We are. So the plan is to Macbeth. To Macbeth is the plan.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Do you have any specific objections, Kinvalar?
I would love to Macbeth, please.
Farble's in this for the amusement of it all.
Gilmore thinks this is a stupid idea that's not going to work. But he can't specifically explain why.
Kinvalar's just having an aneurysm right now. You're just watching his eye twitch repeatedly.
This is my second character in 3 days who's had that happen to them.
For similar reasons.
I am always go to the theater. Always perform Macbeth.
What was the third brother's name? Again?
The brothers the brothers were Rentharl, Marthin, and Lesric.
Rentharl.
Renthal's the dead one.
Yeah.
What was their
just
last
to have
name?
a moment of Rentharl of the last.
They were the Deravos.
The Brothers Deravos shall be the name of this.
The great feats of the brothers Deravos. Let's make it complimentary.
Because we need to appeal to their ego to make them want to watch it.
I mean, God.
Okay,
Do you really
who wants
think
which
that they're
brother?
going to
Who
have
wants to
any
be the one
sense
that
of
dies?
shame about this?
I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. If they don't, that is cause for us to act. At least for me to act.
And here's the perks. If we really need to sneak out of there, we curtain the end of the play with a darkness spell and sneak out the back.
Yeah, I'm not big into getting involved into the politics of the nobility, but this sounds amusing as hell.
Kinvalar is not entirely is just going off of the basic assumption, since he's not that familiar with non-elven society, that this is some sort of established justice procedure.
Accusations of fratricide are very serious in noble families.
You're a bounty
yes.
hunter, first of all.
Yeah.
No, typically something like this is you're accused in a court, and then
Right, of course.
there's a trial by combat or other sort of trial depending on who you are.
But I'm also a bounty hunter whose character flaw is naivety. I am too easy to trust and not ways to the wise of the non-elven world. So, maybe this is some weird alternative thing from Waterdeep. Who knows?
Where is Firen from?
I'm from Waterdeep.
Oh, well, Firen's from Waterdeep, so he would know.
All right, let's do this. Jesus. Oh my God.
So this would have been so Firen. You're familiar with the name with the Derevos name.
Yeah.
Being a noble from Waterdeep. Yeah, they are actually a family known for hunting giants.
Yeah, like I am from Waterdeep, and my love interest is from Neverwinter.
Yeah.
is where her house is set up.
Yeah. You actually do know the Derevos. The Derevos are a family of giant hunters, and they are very good at it. They send their young out to kill giants after having been trained with the minimal amount of equipment possible, because their pride is that they can kill a giant with a stick. In this case, it was a rapier, but they are known in Waterdeep for being giant hunters.
And now the motive comes together. If the other two don't feel like they can sufficiently take down a giant, they get to take the other brother's glory. And say that he died in the act, shame him, and get their own glory.
Yeah. I mean, from a noble family, that is certainly a reason. There could be reasons on reasons on reasons.
Yeah.
I will never understand human society. Let's do this.
I'll be honest, it gets a little bit complicated to me at times.
This is the goofiest.
So,
And that's saying something.
just to confirm,
We are going to Macbeth
we're
this.
going to Macbeth this. All right.
Yeah. So along the way back, you can write up a.
Thank you for yes-anding this into existence.
You
guys.
are writing back. I'm going to need.
Although, technically the play's the
What's
thing is
the-
the Hamlet thing.
Sorry, Hamlet. Yes, not
Yeah.
Macbeth. Hamlet. That's right.
I was gonna say
I was-
it's
I
early
was
in the morning. For
wrong.
me.
I was on the wrong.
That's-
I was on the wrong play. What the fuck check do you do to write a Shakespeare play? Hang on.
I feel like that would.
It doesn't have to be a good play, but I think someone gets to make it with advantage,
It's
given that we have
definitely-
3 people who technically have
It
the
is
skills.
definitely an intelligence check.
I do have the performance skill.
We're
I
going
have
to make
proficient
it.
performance.
Actually, yeah, we're going to make it a performance check, but using your intelligence modifier instead of your charisma modifier.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I will help.
My
I will also help.
proficiency is +3.
You can roll us with advantage because all of us are helping.
With my intelligence bonus.
Advantage, yes, advantage with your intelligence bonus on the performance check. So anyone that wants to can.
Well,
It doesn't have to
there
be
was a
far.
nat 20, so
There you go.
Hey!
there's a nat 20.
I mean, you could roll with advantage. You can roll again to see if you get another nat 20, but it's advantage, so we're taking the nat 20. So yeah, as Kinvalar, you're just watching. You're watching as the 3
I'm
of
so
them
confused.
just like they're just going back and forth and just sharing ideas and go, oh well, we'll tweak the names. It's not going to be actually specifically about them, but it's going to be close enough that they don't that they don't immediately just walk out and da 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 da. And yeah, and then you just they just artfully craft this 1.5-minute play, because it's not going to be a long play, because it's literally 3 brothers go to kill a giant. They kill him, and then 2 turn on the other. So it's not a long play, but it is emotionally impactful, and it is it has a musical number in the middle of it for some reason. And
There's just these moments of like trading
No.
parlance as Firen just like racks his knowledge of flowery noble language.
yeah, no, this is what they've written is the equivalent of what Shakespeare would write to take the piss out of an actual noble. Like,
I just got this image of Shakespeare meets Springtime for Hitler.
So,
That's something Shakespeare would have written,
To
yes.
ask, given that we are now writing the play, who's playing which brother?
that's up to you guys.
Well, it would be the oldest brother would give the big long soliloquy
Yeah,
right
because
before he
that's what dying
dies.
is. In
Right before he
life.
dies, he gives a big long soliloquy.
So my I don't have the performance proficiency, but my charisma score is +3 because I'm a paladin. So
Yeah, I'm.
And keep in mind, we want the
Kinvar
execution
seems
to be coherent,
distinctly
but it doesn't necessarily
uncomfortable
need
with
to
the
be-
idea of performing.
Kinvalar has requested to be the role with
I
the
will
least
take
amount
the
of
one
lines.
with the least. Yes, yes, absolutely.
There's a charismatic older brother, then the conniving middle brother, then there's the stupid younger brother.
Now, keep in mind, we're not going to make those traits obvious in the first half of the play.
In the first 30 seconds.
I'm
It's the
so
second 30 seconds where it becomes obvious.
Kinvalar's like, I'm so confused.
So Kinvalar plays the youngest brother.
So basically, mechanically what we're going to have is
Oh,
whoever plays the oldest brother will be the one making the roll with advantage.
Okay.
Okay. I feel like Fyron is playing the oldest brother, but that's just me. Does anyone have any other ideas?
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
I just want to play the giant.
Okay. So you have written a remarkably fantastic. Farball, you're thinking, I should probably use these two to write more plays, like actual legitimate fucking shit, rather than this. As you finish writing this play,
We're writing a mockumentary.
you're writing you're writing a Mel Brooks like minute and a half short is what you're doing.
Like I said, this is the producer's springtime for Hitler.
Yeah. So you've got it written, and like you have it all written up by the time you get back to town. It slowed your progress somewhat because you were riding and not driving your horse, but which is the correct term. But you do get back to you do get back to town. It's later in the evening. It's not quite dark yet, but it's approaching dusk. And I'm assuming you head back to the inn.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
We asked the innkeep for another night.
Yes, of course. Just give me the same price as it was previously, which is a number that I, as the game master, have forgotten. I don't, because much like the accent, because this whole shit has thrown me for a loop.
And I believe the entertainer trait actually lets us perform here.
Are any of you? That's right.
I am.
Farbolton Entertainer. So you can actually perform for the performance that you're planning on doing is the price to stay. So
Because
that's very, very. You can very easily pay for your rooms with the play you're going to put on.
So Farbolt does
for
Farbolt
the
does
only
the bard thing. Come on, come on.
Come on, yes.
So the next step is convincing the brothers to watch. So they're there. They're eating food. What do you do?
I will go do hype man things.
And just come back. Well, we had to come back due to a few issues with some of our horses, but you kept thinking about your deeds, and it inspired me to write something in your honor.
And Miracle's also there, taking notes on everything.
It would be an absolute pleasure and a privilege if you would be the first to see this play that we've written in your honor will spread the glory of your deeds across the land.
Well, give me a persuasion check.
Meanwhile, off at the table, Kinvar is reading through frantically, trying to learn his 2 lines of dialogue.
Okay, what am I
not
cue?
Minute
horrible.
long play. Don't worry, if you mess it up, it just will sound wooden, and the message will still go across.
But why do I say this?
What's my
What's
motivation?
my
And
motivation?
actually, given we rolled really well, I can probably explain your character motivation.
So one of the brothers seems particularly wary, confused. The younger brother seems confused, as to why this is happening, but the older one
Kid
sort of.
Kid Villar empathizes with him.
That's the role you're going to be playing, so it fits.
Okay,
You're playing Lesric. The other one, Marthin sort of. We still have another hill giant to hunt tomorrow, but for the evening, if you're putting it on tonight, then I don't see why we wouldn't stick around for some entertainment if it's a good show, and if not, I hope you don't mind if we walk out. But
you honor us, sir. It is an absolute privilege to perform something in the presence of, well, greatness.
And he just sort of gives the nod of I understand.
And from what I know of this family household, fratricide would not go over well in their reputation, would it?
I mean, fratricide never goes over well with anybody if it's caught.
Yeah, but especially with this kind of noble house, where it's
unless you live
tradition.
in Menzo Branson.
Well, in Menza Branson, nobody cares because it's fratricide. It would be worse if it was matricide.
Yes, no, that would. Yes, that's where if you do it, you don't want to get caught.
Yeah.
Is killing your sister sororicide?
Soricide, it would be, yeah.
Yep. So,
According to the dictionary, fratricide can apply to sisters.
No, then yeah. I mean, fratricide only matters if it's. Fratricide would only matter if it was against a sister, then.
That is the weirdest thing. Like that.
I think sororicide is also a term.
Maybe.
I just think that fratricide has become a broader term.
Anyways.
So at
Menza
what point
Branson
in
politics
the
aside.
dialogue do the authorities come to make the arrest? I'm confused.
We are the authorities making the arrest. This is the arrest.
Authorities making the arrest after.
Oh,
It's
And by authorities, I mean the broad authority given to wandering adventurers to do whatever the fuck they want.
we have a paladin. That's the authority that we need.
I was about to say, I did intend to arrest them after the play.
I mean, and I am
He's as close to
Ooh.
you
know what? Miracle's going to quickly duck outside, and you speak with animals to ask a lot of the local birds, particularly ominous-looking ones, to be standing outside. So if they walk out, a whole bunch of birds are staring at them.
Give me a persuasion check.
Okay.
Oh.
Maybe the birds take pity on me?
We shall see. So you ask, and you don't get a confirmation, but you also don't get a denial. Mostly you get a curiosity and wondering why you would ask them to do such a thing that they're probably going to do anyways. Because they like sitting on things and staring at people. It's fun.
So yeah, just stare at these specific people when they walk out.
Just stare at... I'm just offering them a particular place that I'd love it if they sat.
All right. And you go back in, and a few hours pass. You all continue to rehearse your lines.
We just wait.
I sort of they're just wearing noble garb. They're not really wearing any armor.
They're wearing armor, like leathers.
Leathers? Okay. Well, my chainmail will have to do for costuming.
Actually, they're wearing breastplates.
Would you like to use his rapier?
I can lend you my cloak of the manta ray.
Yeah, actually, that's a point.
Would you like to use his?
If I use his rapier as a prop.
We probably should not have it covered in blood, but that would give the game away. That would give the game away.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
You can use my rapier.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're using a rapier which matches the aesthetic.
Yeah, not the blood
Kimball,
covered.
you have a rapier as well, correct?
I do. Actually, I have two of them.
Yeah, the blood-covered one would give away the ghost before the play was over, so we need to hold on to that.
I'll pull it out
Okay.
at the finale.
All right, I think we have
I killed the
established
older
what we're
brother
doing.
with.
So if determine what last minute checks you need, last minute preparations.
Hang on, let me make sure.
At
I
the
I
final
have,
act, when I kill the older brother, I'm going to be using the brother's rapier.
that you just pull from the bag of holding.
Yes.
So I'm going to have Gilded Mane waiting outside to prevent them from trying to flee.
Okay.
So there's some birds and a horse that will stare at them.
And just to make sure, let's just stack all the animals outside. I'll have Relix out there keeping an eye out.
Okay. So there's a
Like on the
menagerie
roof or
outside.
something like that. Yes. Because this isn't weird enough.
There's a menagerie outside.
So yes or no on the darkness curtain?
If you think it's a nice flare, go for it.
Okay. I'll take it
Otherwise-
as a yes.
Otherwise,
So
darkness on them to prevent them from running.
the
I mean, it's a
curtain
pretty wide
pulls
spell.
back,
All right, go ahead.
and you begin your play. And it's again very short. You open up as these three brothers, whose names are not Rentharl, Marthin, and Lesric, but are very close to Rentharl, Marthin, and Lesric. It's Rarthen, Mentharl, and Kesric. And these three brothers lament their desire to hunt and kill hill giants for the glory of their family. They determined that the best way to earn glory for their family would be to go and kill some hill giants in very eloquent, flowery speech. And they go and find a hill giant, at which point you have a Miracle coming out doing Miracle's best hill giant impersonation. Miracle, give me a performance check with advantage to see how good of a hill giant you are.
Okay. Cue lots of thaumaturgy because I can have multiple effects
That's
up.
what the advantage is for.
Performance.
Right. A reasonably you get a reasonable reaction from the two brothers, the innkeeper and the birds outside. From your monstrous visage. And the brothers do battle, and you have a big choreographed fight sequence, and I want Fyron and Farbolt and Kinvalar to give me performance checks with advantage.
20!
13.
Much like the
14.
story you're telling, the eldest brother, played by Fyron, is the best combatant against the shows off all the most daring do and most skilled choreography against the hill giant, and the other two just sort of stand off to one side and occasionally jump in with thrusts and stabs and slices.
Byron's less concerned about actually stabbing me.
Prestidigitation, you have like the Power Ranger-esque explosions on the hits.
Yeah, there's all sorts of magical sound effects going, or special effects going off, and then they topple the hill giant that is Miracle, and Fyron, you stand triumphant and give me one more performance with advantage as you give your triumphant monologue.
18.
Which you perform beautifully, and then Farbolt comes up behind and stabs you, and you fall to your knees and give this utterly heart-wrenching performance, and we come to the end of the play.
Darkness.
And you hear...
The sounds of footsteps.
This is so Scooby-Doo, I'm sorry.
I like, why did we cast darkness again so we couldn't see them immediately after?
Because everyone said yes.
Sure, why not?
I would have.
Also,
I'm sorry, I
I
was
can
too
make the
busy
aura
writing my
pretty off
line
to the side.
to think about
Yeah.
that.
It
And
also,
then
like,
I
probably
immediately
So-
everything.
leave the darkness.
You hear birds outside squawking loudly
And then a horse.
and a horse whinnying. And then as you
Okay.
remove the darkness... No, did you remove the
After
darkness?
them, or do we just leave them with the?
Yeah,
end goal?
I'm leaving. I'm heading after them.
Yeah, no, you see
Yeah.
that they have mounted their own horses and are starting to
I
ride
cast
away.
compelled duel on the younger brother.
All right. What's the saving throw?
The saving throw is going to be a 14.
What is the actual wisdom saving throw? All right.
Even though it's not hidden, I cast spike growth on the path in front of them.
An 8. So the younger brother.
As they're running out, you must pay for your crimes. Stand and fight me like a man.
So the younger brother. He pulls the horse to heel, jumps off, draws his rapier. Fine. Trial by combat is what you wish. Then Lesric of the Deravos is more than willing to attend. And he.
Meanwhile, I am casting Old Person on the other one.
All right. What's the saving? on
Okay,
that?
good. You have that. I was gonna use sleep on like the horse.
DC
so the road-
14.
The road that they were about to go on sprouts up with a spiked growth. And it is a
So
wisdom
it's
saving
technically
throw.
difficult terrain.
And doesn't matter, they didn't get to it because the younger brother jumped off the horse and the second one just freezes in place. As the younger one charges at Fyron. Roll initiative, Fyron.
Time to fight. I'm bad at initiative. 14.
18. All right, so he's going first. Does a 20 hit you?
My everything has not. My armor class has gone away. Hang on, I need to re-put my chainmail in and my shield. I don't remember what my armor class is right now.
Chainmail is...
It's like 16, 17.
That's the wrong page. That's the weapon page. I need the armor page.
My armor class is currently 18, so yes, it hits me.
Yeah, chainmail is 16. Shield gives you +2.
Yeah.
So yeah, he strikes out, and this rapier slips past your shield and stabs in through your chain shirt, dealing 4 points of piercing damage to you.
Good thing I am the health tank.
And now it's your turn, because he only gets one attack
I
around.
strike with the longsword.
So you
14.
swing out with the long sword, and that rapier just dances around and smacks it away.
And I swing again. I miss again.
Ching! It's just very.
I have +5 to hit, damn it.
It's this very classic parry right, parry left motion, and you find your sword going wide to the left and right. And he lunges back in with the opening he's created, but a 10 misses as you beat it away with your shield. Your turn again.
Back around with the longsword. 23!
A 23 strikes true.
And then I'm going to use another one of my second level spell slots for a Divine Smite.
Want to talk about overkill? All right. Now roll the
8
damage.
slashing damage.
Okay.
And then Smite for second level. 18 radiant damage.
So he had thrust back in with the rapier, and you went bam, just knocking the rapier
Knock his
aside.
arm wide and then just thrust
And
my
as his
longsword.
arms are up, you bring that sword back around. It glows with divine light. You swing down and across, and he explodes.
I was gonna say that seems a little bit overkill.
Because he only had 9 hit points,
Eh.
and you just did
A lot more than 9.
18
26.
plus 8.
26.
Yeah.
That is
No, more than that, because you just did 32 points of damage to him.
18 plus 8 is 26.
18.
He's not a Bane creature.
Oh no, he's not. Sorry, not Bane. Never mind then. Yeah, okay. So yeah, 18 plus 8. Yeah, 26. You just did 26 damage to him, to a man that only had 9 hit points. So yeah, a splash of blood just erupts across the horses, birds, and his brother, who is currently held in position and can't react, as fire slices through, and this dude just collapses backwards. This massive gash cutting him from shoulder to hip, and just dies on the ground.
And so as I step forward from that, I look over at the other brother, and as I grab the reins of his horse to stop it from running, I say to him, "You have one chance to hold and face justice like a man, or I can cut you down like your brother as well, and then recompense will be made for your brother slain."
He can't react because he's currently under the hold person spell.
He is holding.
Yeah,
I know. I'm holding onto the horse so that when the spell ends, he can't like flee with it.
if the spell ends.
As I look over at Kinvalar.
All right. I think that this is
I'm gonna hold an action with my bow in case he decides to run.
Actually, can we get him off the horse while he's held?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's
so
just paralyzed.
let's get him off the horse before we do that.
Okay, pull him off the horse.
He's not like it's not like a force cube holding him in place. He just can't move.
Okay, yeah, so we'll pull him off the horse.
Oink.
Pull him off the horse.
then
Handcuff
just-
him or anything?
Yeah, handcuff
Yes!
him.
Okay.
Make use of the manticles.
Yeah, make use of the manacles, and then just like sword pressed against the edge of his throat. Kinvalar?
Yes.
So when he can move and react, he struggles against the manacles, but very quickly realizes he's not strong enough to break them, obviously. My family will hear of this atrocity.
Yes, they will. The atrocity of you killing your own brother.
The atrocity of you destroying their youngest son in single combat. A combat that you knew you obviously had an advantage in.
It was a
To be
It was-
100%
it was a perfectly
fair,
honest duel.
to be 100% fair, if you had all been able to equally slay a hill giant, there was no reason to suspect that he was not competent enough to pull that off.
We weren't even here to slay hill giants, you fools. Whatever.
I know.
Yes, you were here to kill your brother.
A few more than just a hill giant.
The amount that you do not know would fill that in.
Then please, I say as I cast Zone of Truth. Tell me.
it is a small inn.
He sort of glares at you.
I knew a warlock that would insist that all the time. He went crazy.
We were here as an agreement between all three of us.
To do?
It was a challenge. Our father has recently passed away and his inheritance is up for grabs. Nominally, it would go to... Well, it would be split amongst the three of us. We wanted it all. The first to fell a hill giant by their own hand would inherit all.
And so when your brother was faster on the mark, then you
Uh,
decided to kill him.
when the brother did basically all of it, it should be said.
Yes, well... Renthal always took his lessons more seriously than the other.
So
have
it was
a con-
basically what I guessed. Cup squabbling.
Yes, we have a confession of guilt. We have confirmation of what happened. Would you like to face execution here or stand trial in Waterdeep?
I'll take my...
I don't believe. I think
We can
it would
take
be
him to- We can
appropriate.
take him to the next town and send him to Waterdeep with a guard escort.
Yes.
I'll take my trial by combat in my own home.
Very well. We'll take you with us to what's our next town? Hang on one second. We'll take you
Everland.
with us. We'll take you with us to Everland, and send you back to Waterdeep with a guard escort, with a full detail of what happened.
And just as a local ranger, it should be said that there are far more dangerous giants than hill giants that have been wandering around. And while I'm sure your guard escort will do the very best, you might actually have a better chance against him than against the roads these days.
Also, Olliston Hold is the next place on the map that you'll be stopping likely for the night.
Alston Hold.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Then we'll
Yes.
send you back from Alston's Hold to.
You don't have
Waterdeep.
you don't have anything to do in Olliston's Hold, but it's a stopping point.
Yeah, it's a stopping point, and we can get this guy offloaded with some guards.
Yep.
I do have one other question for you.
Yes.
How did you like the performances? He seems genuinely curious to know.
Make me an insight check.
Can I also?
Because
Sure.
this is important
Sure.
to him, that he be successful in the
He
things that
put
he
in a
does.
lot of effort into this play.
Make me an insight roll.
That should not be an advantage, so 4.
With a 4, he
17.
seems like a brick wall. With a 17, he was begrudgingly impressed with the performance, but he's not going to say that.
He liked it, Genvalar. He liked it.
Wonderful, thank you. I'm glad you did.
I love
Dungeons
D&D.
and Dragons,
I
folks.
just want to say I love Dungeons and Dragons.
I
Right?
love Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
Oh,
Ah,
oh.
This was a
As
beautiful
this scene
day.
wraps up, Miracle will get like a look on his face. Sort of
by,
frown.
by the way, the rest of you notice, like just for the first time, there is a murder of crows lining the opposite roof, just staring at you all.
Pull out some poison mushrooms. You know, it occurs to me this would have been the only opportunity I will ever get to use these.
What are those?
And I failed to take it.
What are those, Miracle?
Oh, you know when we were fighting that slime back in wherever it was?
The caves, yes.
Yeah, there was some poisonous mushrooms there, and I harvested them. But I've been trying to offload them, but the Lion's Shield is really the only thing locally. So I need to find a druid or an herbalist who might be interested.
But nonetheless, we'll take you with us, and I'll have you sent with a full detail of guards and a detail of your crimes to Waterdeep. Hopefully, you won't be ransacked by a fire giant on the roads.
He just sort of gives you as withering a look as he can muster while handcuffed.
I have the high horse here. I give the more withering look.
You do, literally. It's standing behind you.
Fire giants, frost giants, storm giants, cloud giants, you know. It's all kind of a mess right now.
Yeah. He's still going to take his trial by combat because it's the only way he feasibly has a chance of living.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Miracle's just teasing him.
Yeah, because if he takes his trial by combat with me, he will not get out.
No, we just saw evidence of that.
Collect their personal.
In Waterdeep, he can name a champion and have the champion do it. Like, here he can't.
Go collect
I
their
mean-
personal effects, and then we can get on the road.
Yep. All
You
right,
could try and ask Kinvalar, but I don't think that would end any better for
Kenwar
him.
would be like, no. Actually, probably wouldn't, to be honest, because Evermeet. But either way, he didn't, and that's what matters.
Others.
All right.
All right, we get going with
Yep.
our prisoner in tow, like slung over the back of Gilded Mane.
He has
did
a
we
horse.
fuck up the bar too badly?
No, the bar is perfectly fine.
We didn't even touch the bar. The fight all
Yeah.
happened outside.
Yeah.
I'll say goodbye to the strange man inside.
Yeah, very well. I enjoyed the show.
Hope you like to play. I'm
I did,
sorry
it
it
was-
didn't bring in any customers.
It was rather short, but it was very well written and performed. I quite enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I especially liked the fighting part. It was very, very bracing. All right.
We make our way down the road.
You fucking.
This has been amazing.
As a reward for that, you encounter no random encounters between here and Alston's home. So you ride for about 4 days, and you for about 4 days up the Evermore Way with a grumbling noble in tow. And as you do, you see on the northern side of the Evermore Way as you're heading down towards where Everland is, obviously. You see the high walls of Alston's Hold, which a couple of you are familiar with. Kinvalar, you're more familiar with than the rest because it's closer to Silvery Moon than it's one of the closer keeps to Silvery Moon.
Right.
Alston's Hold has a small village in it with a market, a smithy, a caravan supplier, and an inn called the Headless Troll, and a tavern known as the Flaming Flagon.
Inns and taverns, not the same thing.
Correct. It is not. It is not a joint inn and tavern. Unlike the previous one, they are separate. The inn, Kinvalar would know, gets its name from an incident involving a beheaded troll that wandered into the village, caught fire, and then nearly burned down the establishment. They are right next to the Evermore, so weird shit happens.
Right.
The tavern is the namesake of an ordinary flagon that was ensorcelled during a wizard's duel long ago, and now floats and sheds lights in the middle of the tap room. So, depending on which one you go in first, you'll either find this burnt effigy of a troll over the inn,
or a still burning tankard floating in the middle.
Yeah, or a still or a just a ethereally floating flagon that's glowing with the light of the sun in the middle of an inn or in the middle of a tavern.
Nice. We could probably do repeats of that play. It wasn't too bad.
We could actually he could use his entertainer feature to make some money.
Do you want to put the show on again?
We can. I mean, I don't know if that changes the outcome of a potential trial.
I still want to drop him off at the guard.
There's actually a caravan heading back to Waterdeep. As you guys arrive, so it's very easy to foist him off on someone else. So he is gone by the time you guys settle down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of liked playing the villain.
We can put on another performance.
Shall we spread our thespian legs and then our thespian wings and then just continue to mix a little bit of currency?
I mean,
sure.
Or free room and board, I guess, is the other.
At the very least, it's free room and board.
Yes, at the very least, it is free room and board.
And we've rehearsed now.
We've rehearsed. We rolled a natural 20 on the making it a play, and we're all decently good at combat stunts because we fight pretty regularly.
So, because Farbolt is the entertainer. Farbolt, give me a performance check with advantage because of how well you're using the play because of the play that you wrote, and that you all have already had one more thing. So it's decently received. It's not like, again, it's really short. That as you finish it up, you realize this is really good for a one-time plot, but for an actual running show, it's probably not long enough. But you do get. Someone tosses a gold on stage for your performance.
Oh.
We need to lengthen this show. Make it like an hour.
Do
a little bit of more character depth on the individuals and their motivations.
Do an opening act, juggling, knife throwing, that type of thing. This is what I do in the circus.
But you do still get your room and board free for the night, so.
Yay.
Cool.
You get and at that point we're gonna take a quick break because I need to use the bathroom. I don't know about the rest of you, but we will be back in just a few minutes. And we're back. So, the Traveling Hamlet show has reached... That's your new adventurer group name, by the way. Has reached...
The play's the thing.
Alston's Hold. Which, there's a smithy here if you guys need to get anything repaired. There is a line shield coster if you need to restock on the equipment. With the gold that you have. Yeah.
Fuck. I need to find my PHP. How much is a suit of plate mail?
I don't think they would have it.
Probably have a much better selection once we reach Silvery Moon.
Yeah, no. The line shield coster only has weapons, armor, and adventurer's gear that is under 50 gold. And I know a plate mail is more than that.
Oh, it absolutely is.
For plate mail, if you want to buy plate mail, you'll need to actually, when you reach Everland, you'll be able to buy it. You're pretty certain.
Plate, armor. I just need to upgrade my equipment.
But if anything else you guys want to buy, you can go ahead and buy it, including healing potions. They do have those. Standard healing potions, at least. And I'll go ahead and we're gonna hand wave the shopping part of this. Is there anything?
Gonna pick up another potion. Just in case.
Yep. Good. Is there anything that you guys want to do in Alston's Hold before setting out for Everland?
Just because it's been a while, did we have any quests here?
No.
No.
Now, what did we need to do in Everland?
In Everland, you have a couple of things. Yeah, Everland is where the note of the. By the way, you still have that scroll that you haven't opened up and looked at. There was a scroll case was given to you all by the owner of the Calling Horns.
I do have that in my notes.
Which she said would be helpful if you ever make your way to Everland. And or was it Silvery Moon? I think it was Everland. One of those two. And then you also have Everland is where you are going to meet the Harper contact that you were told about back in Tribor.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was where we had the person we were gonna network.
Yeah, and Everland is a day and a half away. So it's not too far from where you're at.
I need a lot more gold before I can get plate mail.
All right. So, you head up the Evermore Way to Everland. Over the course of the next day and a half, you don't find nothing really jumps out at you as being threatening or crucial. And you arrive. Let me pull you over here. I really wish these thing was set up a little bit better. Okay, there we go. You arrive in Everland. Specifically, you're coming in from the south. And in Everland. So, situated on the banks of the Raven River, Everland is one of the North's most active mercantile communities. A thick stone wall encloses the city, pierced in 5 places by gates. You guys are coming through the southernmost gate. Like the spokes of a wheel, broad straight avenues lead from each gate to the Bell Market at the city's center. The streets are clean and wide enough to accommodate large caravan vehicles. And soldiers of the city's army make a show of patrolling the walls to reassure citizens and visitors as well, as well as to discourage attackers. The buildings of Everland are stately and well-mannered, with steeple-pitched rooftops and tall spires that sport colorful banners, and 2 bridges span the river, which has parks and trees along its shores. So, you guys approach the open gates of Everland. You see the guards patrolling along the top, and you are very easily welcomed into the town and onto the broad sort of central street of the city, of the southern gate. It leads straight ahead to one of the bridges that crosses the river, which opens up into a large marketplace. And if you look open, and if you look into the scroll that you received from Calling Horns, you see it's a letter of recommendation from Tamlin Zoar, and it is addressed to one Dral Thalev, who is a yeah, and it is addressed to one. It is addressed to one Dral Thalev, which says that if ever, which says to provide assistance to the owner of this, provide assistance to the owner of this contract whensoever they need it.
So we might want to hold on to that because we don't necessarily need drastic assistance right now.
Well, and it, Kindlar, you would know, Kindlar and Fire and both of you would know that this is a thing where you present it to the person, and then they give you a means by which to contact them.
Yeah.
Typically,
you give it to them, and they give you the "here's my thing" to call in a favor.
Yeah.
So it's a favor card you use to get a favor card.
Well, it's kind of,
people are weird.
It's because they have to know they owe you a favor before they can pay you the favor. Yeah, and looking at that, you do know that while you don't necessarily... hang on, I think you do know this name. Yes. Dral Thalev is the orc proprietor of Denevar's house that you were told to visit by Darathos Shindril. So, you do recognize that name. So, where are
Have we
you
spotted
heading
any
to
flying wizard hat top towers in
No.
our travels thus far? I haven't seen any sign of that.
You have not seen any sign of Zephyros. You do remember Zephyros was heading... Zephyros told you where he was heading. Hang on, let me pull that up real quick.
So, he's crazy and that may have changed.
I still love that his tower is topped with an actual wizard's hat, just a giant one.
Yes. Zephyros told you... his business is taking him elsewhere, and I cannot remember exactly where he told you he was going.
Nonetheless, we don't see him, so...
Yeah, you don't see him. He's not here. I know that much.
Yeah, so... continue on until he becomes relevant.
Yes. So, are you guys heading for Denevar's Rest first, or are you trying to do anything else while you're here before you go in and talk to them and talk to Dral Thalev?
I've got nothing to do except head for Denevar's Rest.
I mean, unless you want to buy armor or anything, because this is a large enough town. This is a large enough town where you can now find things that you couldn't necessarily find in the Lion Shield Coster.
Unfortunately, plate mail costs 1,500 gold.
I will poke around and see if there's a local herbalist that might buy my mushrooms.
Okay. Give me an investigation check.
I mean, the person at the coster seemed to indicate no, but I've got to try anyway.
Well, that was further south along Evermore Way, so.
Oh.
In Everland, however, you can find a lot of things, and yes, actually, there is an alchemist shop that you can find that will take those mushrooms off your hands.
Cool. I have 10 poison mushrooms.
All right. Give me...
Or 20. Sorry.
Give me a persuasion check to see how well you roll. How much money you get. 15.
Describe the quality and type. Because I rolled well to know what they were way back when I got them.
Yeah. So you get about 13. You get about 13 gold for the batch.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Well, I think I don't have anything that I need to accomplish.
Okay.
So
So you head straight to Danavar's house?
Yep.
All right. Let me find the information about Danavar's house, because for some reason it's not. There it is. Yes, so, you guys ask around, and very quickly are pointed in the direction of the oldest and largest inn and tavern in Everland, Danavar's house. It was once a noble's mansion, and this sort of rambling inn is a favorite haunt for adventurers throughout the city. And you very quickly determined that the reason why Tamlin Zohar gave you a thing is because the Zohar family owns the establishment. But you go in and it's fairly bustling. Basically the main floor of the tavern, the main floor of the mansion is used as the tavern area, and sitting behind the bar, when you get there, is a orc with an eye patch over one eye.
Okay.
Kinvalar can't help it. His eyes narrow just a little bit.
Or it's a half orc, not a full orc. But
Then his eyes narrow half as much as they did beforehand, or they otherwise would have.
yeah, this bright green skin, prominent but small tusks, very well built, with a undercut with an undercut top knot. So like the sides of his head are shaved close, but he's got all the hair on sort of like the very top pulled back into a top knot at the back, and wearing a clean tunic and polishing a glass.
If anything, Fyron actually looks a little bit more comfortable with this guy than most commoners.
Welcome to Danavar's welcome to Danavar's house. I'm Dral Thalev. What can I help you with?
Ah, Dral, I think you're the one we're looking for. One of you has the letter. I don't know which one.
I do. I will hand it over to Fyron.
I take the letter. I hand it over to Dral.
Takes it, pops it, opens it up. Ah, so you guys must have helped Tamlin with something. Well, he reaches down and pulls out a small stone with a magic crest on it. Puts it down.
Take it.
If you ever need to call in that favor, let me know. I'll contact some folks, and we'll have whatever it is you need dealt with. Whether you need assistance with something martial or something political, we cover a wide range of issues.
Well, we appreciate your assistance.
Anything else you need? Here for a drink, rest. You do recall that you're supposed to the tasks you were given by Darathra was to present him with her Harper's seal.
But we're supposed to do it subtly, so I'm leaving it to the charisma people.
It is in a. Oh yeah.
Who has the Harper seal? Or is it me?
I think it was you.
I think it is you.
I
Yeah.
think it was
We're the
you.
one all
Yep.
justice. Let's do the just moral thing.
So I just kind of like swipe the seal from the inside of my cloak, and I just kind of hold it in my palm and just kind of lay both hands on the counter as I say, "Yes, some of our friends said that this would be a fine place to find some rest." As I open my palms with the seal in it.
He looks down, puts a hand up, and just slides it across the table. And as he slides his hand, he picks it up and it disappears. Well, you certainly have picked the right place. This is one of the more well-known and well-accomplished establishments here. Please, have a seat. He indicates, and he reaches down and pulls out a large flask. And he pulls the cork. He puts a couple of cups down. Looks at you, puts 4 cups down, and pops it. And Kinvalar, the smell immediately hits you of elven wine.
Okay.
This is the finest elven wine in Silvery Moon. Please, on the house. And he pours them into these cups and slides them to you.
Okay.
Alright.
Take one.
I
Just
don't like society stuff very much. Insight check.
Sure.
Because if he's gone traitor or whatever, I don't want to die for it.
Yeah, I.
19.
Does anybody just immediately drink?
Farbo. It's not like,
I'm
how
not that much of a hedonist.
he's not
Just a
a
little mischievous.
wine person, so he just takes a drink like it's nothing
Right.
special.
Byron?
Firen just kind of like smells it for a second, ostensibly doing the noble thing of smelling your wine, but really just checking for poison.
Okay. So you can also give me an insight check. So the three of you sort of look at him and start trying to gauge.
Jesus Christ, William.
And
Can I roll perception for the poison?
As you do, Farbolt, you just grab it and drink. And as you put the cup back down, you realize that you're putting it down on a glass table. And you look up, and you're in a very well, furnished parlor. Not the inn you were just in as you started that drink.
And the rest of us look over and see Farbolt vanish as he takes a drink.
Well, the rest. So Miracle and Kinvalar, he doesn't mean you any harm, and
Okay.
the response of it, just the manner in which he responded, seemed like a code.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it was immediately in response to the Harper badge.
Okay, so as long as he doesn't
Firen-
seem to be wanting to murder us for having shown him that, I'll take a drink as well.
Firen, you can't read him.
Yeah.
But
I'm used to that, though.
You can't read him. But you're just sort of like sniffing the thing, and you're sort of absorbed. You haven't actually noticed that Farbolt's not there anymore. Miracle, you drink?
Yeah.
Yeah, you drink, and as you put the cup back down, you too are in a well-appointed parlor rather than the tavern you were just in.
Yeah, so...
Still a little skeptical despite my net 20 insight because orcs.
Yeah.
Kinvalar still decides to drink.
Yeah, and as
Firen just kind of... Yeah.
Farbo's looking at us like, wow,
And-
that
and-
is some kind of wine.
in quick succession, all of you are in. Again, it's as quickly as you put the thing to your lips, and by the time you go to put it back down, you are in a different place. So the parlor that you are in contains austere furnishings and a dozen domesticated tressums behaving like house cats. They're
They've
just
gone
sort
into
of,
magic crazy cat lady's house.
they're sort of meow,
Yeah.
meow,
That's
meow.
Uh-oh. Do we have the outsider cat versus all the rest of the cat situation?
Rillick seems slightly confused, but isn't like hostile or anything.
Because I know what my cats do when that sort of thing happens.
Tressum,
And it's not pretty.
Tressums are a little bit more social than normal house cats, so.
That's fair.
And shortly after you arrive, you see a older human male come into the room wearing. You all have met wizards before. Kinvalar, you are a wizard.
Mm-hmm.
The most wizardly wizard walks into the room.
The most wizardly wizard who ever wizarded a wizard.
Exactly, like long
Dumbledore
white.
and Gandalf had a
long-
love child.
Long white beard, very sort of neatly kept for the most part. A tressum on his shoulder, white.
Big purple robes and pointy hat.
So,
No pointy hat, but big white heavy robes.
so
what
Kinvalar's
Gandalf-
eyes narrowed at the orc. Miracle's eyes narrow at the wizard.
Farbo's looking at the wine going, well, that's some kind of wine.
Welcome to the Moongleam Tower, all of you. I am Corwin Valharo, the resident Archmage of the tower.
Well met.
Well met, well met. And I see that you have all come on business. If you came the way you came, which you did indeed come the way you come. So, please, finish your wine. I trust our friend Drothalev did not lie. It is indeed some of Silvery Moon's finest. And in fact, there is more. And he sort of waves a hand, and these floating bottles appear next to each of you and float down to the table that you find yourself sitting around. And he walks up and pulls a chair out and sits down.
I can't read him.
No, he seems like a polite old human wizard.
Okay, so I don't like him,
Yep.
but I also can't read him.
Yeah. Well then, considering that you presented the badge that you presented to Drothalev, what is it that you've come to inform us of?
I haven't been here for a couple of weeks, so what was Durathra's message?
Basically that giants have snuck past
Yeah,
the Harper's
it's the
information
giant
network.
situation.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
The,
Yeah.
So,
the entire giant situation.
Well, there's a bit of a scuffle going on among the giants, and I'm afraid that they've managed to attack Tribor and several other towns along the roads.
Their
Well then,
political
We've
infighting
actually-
starting to
we've
spill
actually-
out into the rest of the land.
We've actually
It's
received a
their
little bit of
ordaining
information.
business.
Yes, we received a little bit of information from a cloud giant by the name of Zephyros. He's told us about how the ordaining, the sort of the hierarchy of giant social structure, has kind of fallen apart, and now they're all fighting for position, and it's spilling over everywhere.
well, that does indeed sound curious and frightening if they've managed to slip unawares as far as Tribor. Good that you provided this information. I'll be certain to relay it. And as in thanks for this information, danger that you have gone through, bringing it to us, we have decided to grant you access to our teleportation circles, at least until the Harpers decide otherwise.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Also, as a personal gift for your an appreciation, allow me to provide this to you. And he waves a hand, and a small wooden box appears on the table in front of you. Please, open it up. Open it up.
I open it.
I will, yeah.
It's
Just watching with suspicion.
wooden coffer opens up, and it is divided into 6 compartments, each of which holds a scroll that's rolled up.
I take one of the scrolls and open it up and read it.
As you guys look through it, these
It's a
are
glyph of warding.
no, these are spell scrolls. They're spell scrolls. Each of them, there is a spell scroll of Dispel Magic, a spell scroll of Fly, a spell scroll of Magic Weapon, a spell scroll of Sending, a spell scroll of Tongues, and a spell scroll of Water Breathing.
Good Christ. Okay, so I heard tongues,
So
water,
spell scrolls of
breathing.
Dispel Magic, Fly, Magic Weapon, Sending, Tongues, and Water Breathing.
Okay, how many
Okay,
of
just
those
to make
can
sure-
individuals of us cast?
So, Dispel Magic, Fly, Magic Weapon, Sending, Tongue, Water Breathing.
Tongues, Water Breathing, yes. And
I believe with the possible exception of tongues, the wizard can cast all of them.
Kinvalar can cast all of them.
I can cast, I think, none of them.
I can't cast any of them.
Actually, Kinvalar and Farbolt both can cast all of them.
Yeah.
Well,
because-
technically I can cast, but I don't know any of them.
No, it just has to be on your
they're
spell
on
list.
your spell list. You'd have to make a roll for them.
Magic weapon. What was that?
Dispel Magic, Fly,
Someone
Magic
put 'em in
Weapon,
chat.
Sending, Tongues,
Yes.
and Water Breathing.
I can cast dispel magic, magic weapon, and I think that's it.
So, Magic Weapon will definitely be yours. I have that spell already, and I tend to keep it prepared.
Farbolt can
That's
also
also
cast.
something. Yeah, I can also use
Oh,
the
yes.
scrolls.
Farbolt can use all of these scrolls.
Also,
I know Firen can cast magical weapons, so if that would be useful to me.
Yeah, I can just prepare it. Like all of my spells are I just need to prepare them if I need them. That said, Dispel Magic is a third level spell.
I
which
can
I've had access
technically
to for a
cast
while,
water
so-
breathing, but I have a cloak that means that I don't necessarily need the scroll.
Yeah, you do have the mana ray cloak.
Like Dispel Magic is a spell that's on my list, but I don't get third level spells for a while. So
Yeah, which means it might be helpful for you to have that as well. You don't have to be currently able to cast these spells. You just have to have them on your list.
yeah, I know. That's why I say it might be useful.
So let me look.
Feel free to disperse those amongst yourselves in whatever format you'd like. They're yours. In the meantime, please allow me to show you to our inner circles. I believe some of you may enjoy this. And he stands up and walks out the door.
Get up,
All right.
taking a
Hey,
bottle of wine with me, and
I close up. Do I have the other bag of holding? Or who has the second bag?
Kinvalar has
yeah,
it, and
Yes.
I've got one.
I close up the scroll case and hand it to Kinvalar to put in the bag of holding to distribute later.
I'll follow, tail swishing, frustrated, indignant.
As he walks, Crowan is continues to speak because he seems to be the kind of person that just likes to talk to people, especially adventurers. And I don't know how much you all are familiar with the situation in Everland, but until recently, we were a member of the Lord's Alliance. But the Council of Elders, the folks in charge of the town, voted 3-2 in favor of separation, primarily to support Sundabar, who condemned the Alliance for its failure to come to their aid, but during the War of the Silver Marches, I don't know how many of you are familiar with that event, but it was also, Everland trying to chart its own course, and most citizens just think that it was orchestrated by the Zohar family, but regardless of the fact, it remains that we are currently independent of the Lord's Alliance, as of right now. You are currently within the Moongleam Tower. It serves as our stronghold here in the north, the Harpers. Pretty visible from just about anywhere in the town. You likely even saw it as you entered. It was the large keep of black stone in the north, along the northern wall. You would have seen it if you crossed over the any of the bridges. And at any time, there's some between 5 and 15 of us here, keeping the place staffed. I'm always here, obviously, but I believe currently, yes, Daviana Yelranis is the master of the tower currently, although I reside here often and keep an eye on the inner circles, which, as we can see, we are here now. You notice that you've been climbing this tower for a while as he's been talking, and about the time you reach the top, you find yourselves in... I have a thing for this, I think, maybe... Maybe... I thought I did. Apparently I don't. Oh well. You find yourself in a circular chamber at the top of the Moongleam Tower, and along the ground you find carved this arcane magical circle. And inside the room, there is another human mage, sort of sitting off to one side, looking over at you all, and you also, sitting there looking over at you all. as you come in, Crowin looks over. This is Nespril Menk. He's the one that watches over the circle during the day. If you ever come through here at night, you may find Flewin, the other apprentice that mines the circle at night. From here, he says, indicating the transportation circle, you can very swiftly teleport to along our network here in the north. This will take you. You can go from Everland to Loudwater, Mirabar, Neverwinter, Waterdeep, and Yarta, and anywhere and back to any of those places. Each of these locations are at a stronghold of the Harpers, obviously, and there is a mage watching over them at all times. You are free to use these locations however you must. Take note of the towns. I will give you a... He sort of pats his robe and produces a slip of paper. Whichever one of you wants to hold onto this, please, and he'll hold it out to the group of you.
I'll take it and look at it.
It seems blank as you look at it. This piece of paper contains arcane script. If you have it on your person, any of our teleportation circle mages will be able to find you. Simply cast a spell, a spell of meaningful significance, mechanically first level or higher, into the paper, and it will signal our teleportation mages that you are looking for them if you do not already know where they're at. They will find you and direct you to the circle.
I take it. I hand it to Kinvalar. This is probably your field.
Yes.
I believe that is all we have. Thank you for informing us of the giant threat. We've been aware of their stirrings for a while now, though we were not aware that they had made it into Tribor, which is, well, concerning, to say the least. However, I'm sure you have additional adventures to go on and additional quests to utilize. We will likely call upon your aid in the future to deal with this threat. That being said, of course, you have free access to our inner circles for the time being.
Do you have any way of contacting us directly?
We have our methods, yes.
I mean, they hand out scrolls of sending. I assume they can contact us if they need to.
Fair.
So, I believe that is all that you required of me and that I required of you. Is there anything else that you would like to know before you leave? And would you like to leave via the teleportation circle, or would you like to leave via your own 2 feet?
Well,
the question therein is on our own 2 feet. Where are we right now?
You're still in Everland. This is the tower. Okay. As I mentioned before, this is the Moonstone Tower in Everland. Or Moongleam Tower, sorry.
Right.
You've been teleported across the city, basically.
Do we have any further business here in Everland?
I don't believe so.
Because I believe our next stop is... We're heading up to Silvery Moon. Yeah. Hoping we didn't have to walk there, but I guess...
Silvery Moon is fairly close. I'm sure you could hire a carriage if you'd like, rather than heading along the road.
Walking is also perfectly reasonable and fine as the normal way for people to do things.
I mean, that's not... That's normal for some people. I'm fine with either, to be honest.
So unless there's something of note left in Everland, I think we could. I don't think I've got anything I need to take care of here.
Yeah. So, John, sorry, for my benefit, was there a teleportation to Silvery Moon? I thought there wasn't.
No, there's a teleportation circle. So the teleportation circles that you have access to currently are a teleportation circle. I'm going to type this in chat as well. In Everland, Loudwater, Mirabar, Neverwinter, Waterdeep, and Yarder.
Can you put us back to the map with all the quest markers?
Yes,
Sorry.
I can.
Because we
Wow.
quite honestly could skip Silvery Moon. Of course, there's questing to be done there, but it's not it is very optional.
There's a couple things there. There was a couple things in Silvery Moon, wasn't there? One being the optional.
I only
Filtering.
see the thief thing in my own quest log.
I
I
there was
don't
something
say
else in
that
Silvery Moon.
obviously because quest logs are not an in-universe thing.
So we've got 3 quests in this area: Silvery Moon, Zymoran Hall, and Citadel Felbar. Zymoran Hall. And the only place with a teleportation circle that is relevant to us right now is Mirabar, which is on the other end and then goes down to Xantharl Keep.
There is a bounty in Xantharl's Keep that's wanted in Mirabar. That's why those 2 places are marked.
Oh.
Okay. The bounty is hiding in Xantharl's Keep.
Yes.
Okay. So we can go through Silvery Moon, Felbar, and Zymorvan, and then teleport ourselves to Mirabar and take the short path down to Xantharl's to come back.
That works. I don't really...
Not discussing the business at Silvery Moon in front of anyone else, but if we step aside.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. You guys can have time to plan and think about it without talking in front of the wizard.
Miracle's still going to be intentionally ambiguous because...
What was our task from Zephyros? Was that the one that was leading us to Silvery Moon?
No, Zephyros just wanted to let you guys know that shit was happening.
Zephyros was like, you have mystical destiny, I have helped you on your way, and now I will go back to being crazy in the clouds.
Yeah, and he's out, like, at an island somewhere. Like...
Yeah, he fucked off.
Yeah, okay. Zephyros was, here's the beginning of the campaign, bye!
Basically, yes. Zephyros is a crazy wizard who was licensed to
provide exposition.
To exposit, yes.
And so Silvery Moon, it was pretty much just, there are items that could be useful to us, and if we're going to continue our adventures to.
Nah.
So, as a reminder, just because you all do still know this, the quests that you have are in Silvery Moon. So there is a dwarf cleaning stables in Xantharl's Keep that has a bounty on his head in Mirabar. The reward for that bounty is 5,000 gold. You've already done that one. There is a retired adventurer in Zymorvan Hall who has a giant slayer weapon. Specifically a giant slayer greatsword that will help you in killing giants if you want to go get it from him. In Silvery Moon, there is a stash of magical items that a noble family has that are there for the taking. In Citadel Felbar, the dwarven smith in Tribor gave you a letter of recommendation for the king of Felbar, for the rulers of Citadel Felbar. And you've already completed Nonar's Hold. The Cerberan Hills are where the fire giants that attacked Tribor retreated to, and that's what you currently have.
So, I certainly see the benefit in going to Zymorvan, and if we're stopping in Silvery Moon, well, we can debate our ethical standpoint on the way.
Well, from
But
uh,
yeah. But the
we
question
haven't-
is if that is more of immediate interest than cutting over to Mirabar and Xanthar's now while we have the opportunity.
yeah, it's the acquiring item. The great sword will, if the giants continue to be a problem, that great sword will be of enormous help. And
With the political upheaval, I think they're going to continue being a problem.
And on the same note, it's collecting an item that'll be useful. The items in Silver Moon could prove just as useful to any endeavors of that.
Yes. The question is which of these things we do first, essentially.
What was the status on the stuff in Silver Moon?
It's a noble family
started.
a noble family that Othavir didn't like because they were pricks. He happens to know where they keep their cache of emergency magical items.
So,
And that was
if they're used for emergency, they would. Well, they probably won't be weapons, but they could definitely be utilitarian or defensive in nature. If they were offensive, they would probably be put in use far earlier.
He was quite eager to insist that they didn't actually need them and they wouldn't actually serve the common good if they were.
Well, they're not going to serve the common good because they are being sequestered away. But like I said, chances are what using it's going to be more
this is
like
not the time to be asked. This is not the time to really be debating whether or not we're going to do that. The question we have is where we're going first. Kinvalar, you know this area best.
It is a day's ride by carriage from Everland to Silver Moon. It's a little bit longer, about a day and a half to walk.
Right.
And it is about a.
How far from there to
Zephyrin's
Keep?
It's about 2 days on foot from Silver Moon to Zymorvan Hall. Or a day and a half by carriage.
What's the travel time from Mirabar to Xanthar's?
It's about 2.5 to 3 days either way because it's through the crags, which are very difficult terrain and incredibly dangerous.
If we're looking at,
it strikes me that Mirabar and Xanthar's might be more time sensitive than picking up random things that no one is currently using.
Possibly.
I'd agree with that. I would agree with that. If you want to look for a bounty, that might be more pressing. The other stuff will be there if we decide we want to.
Kinvalar would know because of your reputation, Kinvalar. You would know that the crags that separate Mirabar and Xanthar's Keep are particularly dangerous to cross. That's why there's a settlement on either side of it.
Okay.
Because they are home to giants and trolls and ogres and things like that.
You mean like all the things that we might run into just walking the roads heading towards Xanthar's?
It's true, yeah. Well, yeah.
Just a shorter distance.
But it's more densely packed than.
Yeah, it's more densely packed, but it's still a way shorter distance than walking.
Well,
which
there
is
are
why...
civilizations on either side, so we could probably hook up with a caravan or something and have some extra.
What that means to Kinvalar, though, is that anybody who is in Xanthar's probably feels safe from prying eyes coming from Mirabar. Because the last thing they're concerned about making that journey is him.
Right. So yeah.
It's also been over a week since you were told that information anyway.
Yeah. So I'll express all that.
We're already pressed we're already pushing time then. I suppose we might as well just, and we can if we don't want to go, I mean, we'll have to go back to Mirabar anyway to turn in the bounty. But
So that'd be going to Mirabar,
crossing
braving
to Xantharls,
Or-
getting the bounty, crossing
Right.
back to Mirabar.
that,
Versus walking the entire length of the countryside just to get to Xantharls.
which will take a few weeks, probably. I don't know. Just from how long it took us to get here, it'll take us at least a couple weeks.
Does anyone have a strong preference?
I am personally in favor of heading to Mirabar and seeing this bounty done while we deliberate a little more and plan out what to do with the rest of these.
I am comfortable with that.
I am okay with that.
Okay. We're in agreement then.
Alrighty. So,
Besides which, the gold from the bounty on Xantharls will help put me in a little bit better armor.
so you express to the wizard that you want to go to Mirabar?
Yes.
All right, very well. Then I believe the name of the person that I just introduced you to, whose name I have forgotten, can help you with that.
It's all right. You're senile and old.
Yes, very senile, very old. Nespril. Yes, Nespril. Very well, Nespril, if you would please whisk our adventurers away, I will see you all when I require your assistance again. Have fun! And as you all step on the circle, the arcane circle, the mage next to you utters an incantation, puts his hands forward. The entire room engulfs in light. You all sort of shield your eyes instinctively as the light rises up. And then as it fades away, you find yourself inside a stable loft. And you see that a dwarf is... All right, move your ass! With a broom, sweeping hay all over the floor where you guys are at.
Wait, wasn't it? Well, weren't we looking for a dwarven stable hand?
Not in Mirabar, no.
Okay.
That would be far too convenient.
I was like, did he just move into Mirabar?
Also not working the Harper's teleportation network.
I had to say.
Yeah, I feel like if he's working the Harper's teleportation network, we might just leave him where he is, however much gold it costs.
Yeah.
Right. Zasper Brownfire is the name. You should probably skedaddle.
Okay,
Right.
bye.
Only come here if you need it.
Moving.
Yeah, you guys are in a stable loft currently.
We leave.
Do you leave loudly
Are-
or try to be quiet?
I mean, I'm wearing
Nonchalantly.
scale armor, but I'll try.
Give me some stealth checks.
Nonchalantly.
Give me some stealth checks.
Yeah, can I leave nonchalantly rather than quietly?
Give me a stealth check. Nonchalant has a lower DC.
4.
Natural 20.
All right. Yeah, Miracle.
Yep, we were supposed to be here.
So Miracle, Farbolt, and Kinvalar managed to exit the building pretty quietly and unnoticed. Firing you clank, clank, clank out, but you're pretty much by yourself as you exit, so everyone looks like anybody that looks over just assumes that you were there dropping off a horse.
I'm a dude in armor. I obviously came in on a horse.
Obviously, yeah. As you exit out into Mirabar. Mirabar sits atop a knoll on the north side of the Mirar River, and is pretty much an unassailable fortress, enclosed on all sides by sloped outer walls, as wide at the base as many city blocks in Waterdeep are entirely. It is the richest city in the north, and it's also the bulwark of the north, sitting just below the spine of the world, and serving as in parallel to Luskin, which is the biggest port in the north. It serves as sort of the iron wall from below Icewind Dale and the Reged Glacier. any sort of creature or monster that has to come through that wants to come south has to go through Mirabar, and Mirabar is a hard nut to crack.
I just realized that I can resummon my horse, but Kinvalar's fancy horse is still in Everland.
The wisdom save was for Miracle not to mention that.
It's fine.
Farbolt rents his horse. He doesn't. Not too concerned.
The city is mostly the surface dwellers of the city are mostly human. That's the thing that you all notice as you walk around. Most humans, but Kinvalar, you would know that just below the surface of Mirabar is another city, filled with residential caverns, superheated forges, and foundries run by the dwarves. Because Mirabar is nominally a dwarven city. The surface is where the humans live. Underneath is where the dwarves live. And you would also know, Fyron would know that Mirabar is one of the cities up north that's a member of the Lord's Alliance.
Yeah. Along with Mithril Hall, I believe.
Mithril Hall is indeed another member of the Lord's Alliance.
Yeah.
As is Waterdeep.
And Luskin, I think?
Luskin is not.
No, Neverwinter is. Luskin is not.
Neverwinter is, Luskin is not, yes. Neverwinter...
I would be pulling up my cloak to hide the horns a little bit, except for the part where the cloak is a magical water-breathing cloak, so never mind.
You are pulling up the cloak likely to protect against the cold, because this is definitely the coldest place any of you have been in a long time.
You just got like a manta ray skin over your head.
Biting winds blow through the street, and you see that everybody around you, while moving about at a normal pace, are bundled up for the cold.
That's one thing. If we're just below the spine of the world, we might want to get a little bit more thicker clothing.
Oh, this is actually much more comfortable than moving around the swamps in scale armor.
No, you're sweating less. You're shivering more, but you're sweating less.
This is actually a little bit more comfortable. I like it.
So yeah, you are in Mirabar. And again, if there's anything you guys want to buy in Mirabar, you can probably find it. It's one of the larger, wealthier cities in the north. And it's a dwarven stronghold. So there's lots of things to do here if you care to.
So, first,
very little that I can afford.
Speaking of armor, you mentioned you needed money to buy better armor. How much would you need?
Well, fair market prices. A suit of plate mail is rather expensive. I've got on my person roughly 300 gold. Fair market price from my research on plate mail is typically 1,500 gold.
Can't help you close that gap, unfortunately.
But this bounty of 5,000 will.
Yes. I was thinking about poking around other local rangers, travelers, see if there's a caravan or something that we could travel with to make the crag a little less dangerous.
Sure, give me an investigation check.
Okay. I was gonna ask, does anyone want to help me out with that so I can have advantage? But
does anyone want to help?
Letting
I will
everyone else
assist.
know.
All right,
I will assist.
Investigate with advantage.
17.
Yeah, there's actually a dwarven smithy caravan heading south. They're actually heading south to Tribor. They're heading to Waterdeep via Tribor. So it's going to be on the road for a while, and they always appreciate more hands when going through the crags or other dangerous areas.
Versus by a Neverwinter.
Yeah. Well, it's technically a shorter path to head straight south to Waterdeep.
That's fair.
Instead of going around the coast.
You also don't have to pass through the Merdelaine, so.
Also don't have to pass
Would
through
we
Luskin.
have to pay, or could we essentially offer our martial prowess as payment?
No, actually, basically, they would hire you on as guards.
Okay.
Perfect.
Unless anyone has a moral objection to working as a guard.
Nope.
Seems.
Nope.
We will guard you through the crags.
And basically, they're paying you, so you would gain the benefit of anyone who's paying them for the. You would gain some benefit from anyone who's paying. All right, and they will pay you. They're going to pay you, and the agreement you reach is that in addition to you coming with them, they will pay you whenever you decide you're leaving for the amount of travel and protection you have provided.
Okay.
So you guys hook up with them.
Yeah.
It is
But if they're caravan, they have some experience.
Yeah.
It'll probably be a good deal for us in the end.
So the first thing you notice is that there are a couple of members of the Axe of Mirabar that are that are going to be escorting. The Axe of Mirabar are basically the city guard and army of Mirabar. There's 2 of them that are going to be going with the caravan. And then there are a couple of other adventurers as well that will be joining you. So the total contingent of the caravan is going to be 8 people total, 8 guards, along with 2 dwarven merchants, their caravan, their horses, and a couple of other and 2 other human passengers that are riding on the caravan. And you are going to be setting out from Mirabar to Xantharls in a couple of hours. So you do still have a little bit of time if you need to stock up on anything.
Mostly pick only thing Firebolt will look for, just get some more winter clothing.
Yep, you can certainly buy more warm clothing.
Yes, that should probably happen.
Winter clothing is going to cost you 2 gold.
Yeah, not a problem.
Reasonable.
Right.
Done.
You buy yourself some clothes to guard against the harsh weather of the north. And in a couple of hours, you meet up at the southern gate of Mirabar and set off through the crags. Who wants to roll me a D100?
I'll do it.
On it.
Okay,
I need 2 D100s, so both of you roll one.
Okay.
Because it's a 2-day. It is
90.
It is 2.5.
96.
It's a 2.5 day ride south, and it takes a while. So,
Do we just run into 2 of the same thing?
we'll find out.
So it's wandering ogres again. Oh, which way did we turn?
Yep, it's those. First one there, and that one there. And so it's 90 and 96.
I'm about to really confuse some dwarven merchants if that's the case.
Just the ogres coming back.
Also, they got really lost this time.
We took a wrong turn at Nesby.
Because they were like here.
And they were heading south.
Headed here.
Yeah.
And they wanted to go south.
And they managed to get here.
So, the first thing you notice, as you guys are riding south, before you've crossed the Mirabar River, riding up from the south is a ranger. You see a halfling on a horse riding up with a tressum on her shoulder. It's a female halfling with a tressum on her shoulder.
Tressum.
I mean, tressums are popular pets. Who sort of rears her horse as she approaches. Oh, caravan heading south, are you?
Hello.
Could you use another hand? I was heading up to Mirabar actually to catch another caravan.
I mean,
We
I'm
cannot
sure we
answer that
could,
question.
But yeah,
Unless
Sorry, what was the
if you can as guards you can't hire other guards on, but you can basically provide the suggestion of yes or no to the merchant, and because there are 4 of you,
exactly.
you have a bit more sway than the others.
I'm sure we could always use the help.
Sorry.
From our past
Yeah, that's
experiences
you
with
joined
running
the
into people,
Yeah.
from past experiences running into
Yeah, I was
random
about to say, insight check,
so
please.
check on this.
Sure.
'Cause we've run into people who have asked us for help before.
Oh no, she's asking to help. Yeah, sure.
I know, but still.
Go ahead and give me anyone who wants to can give me insight or perception checks.
Fine.
13.
Nine.
13
Yeah.
and 9. She seems genuinely helpful.
Oh, 9.
18. Yeah, no. This. So.
Oh, I don't have advantage.
Oops,
sorry,
I did
9.
not mean to roll
That's fine.
twice, but
15.
15.
Miracle. I mean, looks like a ranger to you. Kinvalar, you notice the cloak that this halfling is wearing.
Okay.
It's a green cloak with sort of a flat green design on one side and a golden green, sort of like wood bark design on the left, with the silhouette of a stag's head on it. And you know that's the sign of the Emerald Enclave. The Emerald Enclave is a group of wilderness survivalists who preserve. Basically, they ride up and down. They ride up and down the savage frontier, the north, anywhere that there is danger on the roads, helping people and hunting and eliminating threats to civilization, threats to the wilderness and civilization. They exist to help civilization and the wilderness exist in concert rather than at odds.
They're druid military.
Kind of. They're mostly rangers, but they where druids care more about the natural world and fighters and things like that care about the civilization. They exist on that line between, trying to strike a balance. And they're genuinely
Druid plus military equals druid military.
yeah. They're genuinely typically are good aligned people. Who when they offer help, it's a genuine offer of help.
Okay.
Seems legit.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, well, I'll throw
We can definitely the point towards the caravan.
Yeah.
and she rides her little pony, which it's definitely more of a mule than a horse, but she's a halfling, so she rides her little pony over to the caravan and converses with the merchant. The merchant goes around the guards, asks what you all think, comes to you guys.
No.
Oh yes, absolutely. I think
Seems okay, I guess.
I
think it's a fantastic idea.
All right, we'll add one more to the roster, and you get a ranger joining up. And I'm going to note the second roll as a 96 because that's where we're going to end for the day. So
Yay.
we'll pick up with what that roll entails next time. Think about it.
90 was get a companion.
Goodbye.
96 was lose a companion.
Goodbye.